The one thing you mustn't confuse is a jungle root with your jungle clear. Yes, experience just got buffed and everybody's doing a full jungle clear in the first rotation, but the goal of a jungle root is to set yourself up to maximize the jungle diff, to be able to take over games with huge experience advantages. And in this video, I'm going to show you, no matter what your approach is, how you can use a whole different amount of roots to get level 6 as fast as possible, to be level 6 when the enemy jungler is level 4. So whether you are a ganking jungler or a farming jungler or any jungler, you're going to want to listen to how to actually maximize your experience. So obviously, you can start solo on your buff, on your red, and you can do whatever sequencing you like. The idea is, though, to ensure if you go red, Krugs, Raptors, you then do Wolves, Grump, Blue, you want to set up all those camps to spawn in order. So don't create any delays in your sequencing when you want to fast level 6. And obviously, you can start on your Raptors and go to Krugs, into red, and then also path to the top side and do the same thing. You can start on your blue and go Grump, Wolves, Raptors, Krugs, red as well to maximize that sequencing. That is, of course, a possibility, but how fast are you realistically looking to get level 6? Let's take a look at a more regular example. We'll use a Lilia here. Raptors, Krugs, red, Wolves, Grump, blue, goes and does a Scuttle Crab, goes back to base, and here's where things get really interesting. If we stop here after she does Scuttle, in another scenario, we look at this Evelynn, you can then go up and do your Raptors and Krugs, and potentially, if the enemy jungler is bad, get a double Scuttle. That is a huge boost of experience. The Evelynn then goes back to base, does Grump Wolves, is almost level 6, and then is forced to do one singular Scuttle to get herself level 6. That is around the mid-level 6s with 0 ganking pressure, 0 lane absorption of experience, 0 kills. That is a lot to ask because you're unlikely to get away with a double Scuttle. You're going to be forced to do another camp in the meantime. And if we jump back to the Lilia example, you will see exactly that. Because she started on Raptors and doesn't stay out like the Evelynn, she now goes to her Raptors. She wants to go to her Krugs afterwards, but sees some action top lane. She shows up, does her thing, and then goes and does the Krugs. Now she can go to the bottom side of the map. Again, she is forced to compromise her sequencing to rotate to environments where there's fights and skirmishes. Now you'll notice, once she does all the killing, there we go, falls back to the Grump. So, she has effectively done a first clear plus Scuttle and a second full clear, right? But she still needs that singular grub to get level 6. Fortunately, the Raptors respawn because she has that on cooldown, and now at 7 minutes, she is level 6. So when we talk about jungle roots, this is exactly what we're talking about. How can I structure not only my first sequence, but my second sequence to get level 6 as fast as possible? What options do I have as a jungler in this new meta to invade, to gank, to counter jungle that allow me to maximize this time? Let me show you 2 examples where I was able to get a 6 minute 10, 6 minute 13 level 6 in 2 different environments. The best way is always to go through Virkayu.gg. Not only do I have a free jungle improvement resource, I also have a dedicated program with jungle video courses, jungle coaching classes, a jungle VOD library, special weekly content you'll see nowhere else, as well as all of this hosted in a private jungle Discord. And if there is one thing I'm good at, it's making junglers go from low elo to high elo, as seen by the great number of success stories from the end of last season and already the beginning of season 14. So to climb faster than everybody you know and to jungle diff every game you play, head to Virkayu.gg or click the link in the description below. Now, let me show you here how we can do this with 2 farming junglers and show you that when you don't understand that the jungle route extends beyond the first clear, how it can straight up lose you games. I start on the bottom side, I sequence all the way to the top side. I can gank the top lane, grab a free kill, and take a Scuttle Crab. Basic stuff. The Fiddlesticks tries to do the same thing, but he's slow and he isn't able to do it. I die mid because I'm old and an idiot, and I apologize for you having to witness his death. It's on my clock as well as my conscience. Trust me, I go to sleep every night and think about this. I respawn. Now what do? Well, I'm against another jungler, and you know, my bot lane are kind of weird, so why don't I just go ahead and, you know, do the Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, Grump, and then gank top lane yet again. We don't get a kill, but of course I get free pressure, and because I know the enemy jungler is sequencing down, that is, my friends, a free singular grub, which gives me level 6 at 6 minutes 13. You freeze frame here, and if you were paying attention to what the Fiddle did, he decided to not finish his second full sequence and cut in for the dragon. When you're doing the dragon, it takes so long and you're getting 0 experience. I'm going to show you another example of this in a second, but now the guy knows I'm on the Grubs, collapses in on me, but I'm level 6, my team are ready to play, I've eviscerated the Kayn already, we make a nice mechanical play on 65 ping, and the game is over basically. How do you recover from this? The Fiddle isn't even 6 at this point, he died level 5. And the reason is he didn't do his second spawn Wolves and Grump at level 5, and he spent all that time doing a dragon. All he had to do was finish his full sequence, maybe go ahead and do the dragon and get level 6, which he would have, and then gank bottom lane. Give up the grubs, focus on your 6 spike as soon as possible. Now though, what happens if we have the opportunity to counter jungle these second spawn camps because the enemy jungler is more of a ganking style jungler? And again, this works for any jungler. You're seeing this in this video. There's ganks, there's clearing, there's rotations. It's all about the right read. Let's use a blind example here of a Diana. She, instead of full clearing, decides to do red Raptors Krugs and gank the top lane. How amazing and fun. She goes back to base. Where's she gonna go next, my friends? Nah, I'm just kidding. You know she has to go to the bottom side. She will have a bottom side quadrant, a scuttle crab, and a bottom lane that she can gank. All of this sounds great. So she does exactly that. The blue side, the scuttle crab, the bottom lane gank. 3-0-0. I've blurred out everything else so you're completely blind to what's going on. All of a sudden, the jungler shows up on the top side again. No Krugs, no Raptors. Remember, the respawn of these first camps that you did are gonna be level 4. The respawn of the camps on the bottom side, if you do a full clear, are gonna be level 5. All of a sudden, the Diana has lost to level 4 camps. How can she get level 6 quickly if she's been counter jungled so? The problem is because her bottom side camps are gonna spawn way later than they normally would because she based after ganking top lane, now there's really not much that she can do as a level 4 jungler. She is compromised versus a full clearing jungle root jungler who's now demolishing her. Let's swap over back to the other side, and again, of course it's me, so I'm using the Zyra. You can use any champion you like, it doesn't really matter. You full clear up, you see the Diana do her gank, you're like, oh my god, why is she doing that? But then you know you get the free scuttle crab, maybe you can gank the mid lane a little bit, and then you go ahead and ward deep on the raptor pit. Now at this point the Diana sees you, so the Diana knows what's going on. But there's also the problem from Diana's perspective, is the Zyra gonna go back to base and obviously resequence her bottom side, or is the Zyra gonna counter jungle me? The Diana can't risk going for the invade knowing that the enemy bot lane, in this case the Zyra's bottom lane, will be able to rotate and kill her. So what I do is I ward and take the Raptors, take the Krugs, and of course then I can go back to base. Now here's where I want you to think about jungle roots, okay? So the full clear is a baseline, the scuttle crab is a baseline. Afterwards, you can obviously go counter jungling and invading second rotation, provided you get a gank off. You can also simply go back to base, gank another side lane, and then full clear again. There's also a few other things you can do, but we're gonna look at those examples in a second. Let's just first focus on the decision making here. I decide to go to the Grump on the Wolves. Why? Because if Diana sees that I've taken her top side camps, she will have the option of saying, well, Zyra started bottom side, is pathing upside, I have an item advantage because I have 3 kills, why don't I just invade and kill her as she gets to Wolves and Grump? I don't want to have that happen to me, so I'm going to take them away and go down. What this does is forces the Diana into a position where she has to counter jungle me if she doesn't invade me. But that is the dumbest decision, because if I just dump my Krugs and Raptors and gone up as per normal, then she would have nothing to do here except gank my bottom lane. So I'm covering for my bottom lane, I'm protecting myself against potential invades, and when she shows up, she can righteously be killed. Now, that flash we can ignore. I'm usually a 9 to 14 ping, and I was in 65 this weekend. I don't know why, but trust me, when you go from 9 to 65, it's a big shift in your reality. Please keep that in mind for any sort of weird footage you might see in this video. Regardless, that kill and this sequencing enables a 6 minutes 12 level 6 spike. That is a very fast level 6. About the same as the clear we just did before this one. So in this last scenario, right, I still get that 6 minute 12 level 6, but it included counter jungling the Diana and making her down 2 levels because she made bad timing plays. That's why it's the most important thing in this meta when you're full clearing in the first rotation, that you understand your jungle route does not change in terms of the second and the third rotations. That's when you get an early level 6. You're setting yourself up with the first clear to slingshot everybody else. You can see from the Zac example as well, very much like the Lilia. Starts on the Raptors, does a full clear down, has, an early base, ganks the top lane, sequences down again, and then does the dragon. All it does is delay a level 6 by quite a large amount. Now, if it's the right play, it's the right play. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you have the option of an early level 6 and using that like I've shown you, this is what you want to look out for. Now, you might also be asking, but what if we can maybe not count on jungle, but invade? No, not cringe cheese invade, simply I'm going to full clear my jungle as I already showed you, and then look to invade an enemy jungler where I know I clear faster than them. In this case, if you can steal the red, push them out and burn their flash, thumbs up. Obviously pay attention to prior, use your flash to escape. Ideally, you're not in this situation, but I like to limit test for you, the people, in these videos. I'm able to escape. I already have one top scuttle crab, I'm gonna go take the bottom scuttle as well. Because I know that the Teemo's now on the top side, most likely doing his Krugs, I can go ahead and gank bottom lane. I missed my spells because 65 ping, and then I auto attack the Vayne a few times for an electrocute proc and a kill. This also means I can go ahead and steal his respawn Grump. Here's where the mind games come in. Is the teamer going back to base because of all the shenanigans, or is he going to stay out and counter jungle my top side? You have no idea here as the full clearing jungler, but honestly, I think it's pretty clear that he should in theory stay out given the delay in his clear and how he was compromised. And also, you know what, you should be able to win with the level advantage. Because of this bad play for me, and it is a bad play, I go back down and I do the Raptors into the Krugs. Pause. It's 5:35 on the clock. You can see the teamer is taking my wolves and my Grump. Look at my experience bar. If I had simply taken his wolves, I would have been level 6 at basically 5 minutes, let's just say 45. Normally, you're looking at level 5 at 4 minutes 45, and I already have that full level caught up in a minute and on the first rotation of the game before basing. And all that it included in this particular situation was a first full clear from my perspective, plus a second full clear, except I took his cams instead of mine. But if you're an intelligent human being, which I think you all are, you would have realized, wait a second, you stole his first quadrant and your first quadrant when they respawned, which means they were all level 4 cams. And yet, because I stole his rebuff, it would have given me level 6. So that gives you a great example here of why it's important to control your second rotation. Taking 4 level 4 cams on your second clear effectively, which is what I've done, versus taking 2 level 4 cams and 2 level 5 cams, means I needed not only the Teemo's red buff on first steal, but also a double scuttle to get level 6. So if you can do that, amazing and empowering, if I do say so myself. You will not get an early level 6 if you gank too much. You will not get an early level 6 if you do not at least get 1 full clear and then your second rotation of cams, plus a good gank, 1 singular grub, and at least a scuttle. You have to understand that this experience you gain from ganking needs to be melded and welded to your camp sequencing. Every time the Lilia or the Zac in this video decided to compromise their sequencing to rotate to a play, the right decision, they were delayed by their level 6 by another 10 to 15 seconds. What this means is for you, to get a fast level 6, you absolutely have to understand the 80% rotational rule. Is there a high probability I can get to this kill, get to my laner, save their lives, and have a good play that gets me something? If yes, like the Lilia, you do it, because you come out ahead in gold and you will slingshot your experience afterwards even if your level 6 is delayed. If you cannot, like perhaps a Zac or other players, you're going to delay your level 6, another jungler will definitely get it first, and the skirmishes that you're about to have, you don't have your ultimate, much like the Fiddle did by choosing the dragon over his cams, rotating to a dump fight, and he lost the game from this moment, because obviously I counter jungled his top side right afterwards as well. Now I understand a lot of this can be quite overwhelming in terms of information. Fortunately, there's a slowed down video talking about the coaching of the early game on this patch with the new experience buffs on your screen right now.